Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you joining us in today, we welcome you in. You might be wondering about the background today. Water and rice. I chose it on purpose because this is traditionally considered poor people food. And you know what? You might want to get used to this scene, because it might be all a lot of us are eating for the near future. There's a lot of mysterious things happening in the market at the present time. I've been looking around for some sort of statistic, some sort of fact that I could hang my head on to try to figure out where the economy really is. And today, well, as I record this, it's June 15th, 2021. On CNN, say what you will about CNN as a news source, but they at least have some interesting statistics. On CNN, our economic rate today, as compared to March, from March till now, we're only operating at 88%. So if March was 100%, we're now at 88%. Now, this is a disturbing figure. They're saying coming out of the pandemic how everything was going to get better, everything's going to be fantastic. Well, no. We've dropped jobs. We have shed jobs. This post-pandemic pick-me-up the economy is supposed to go through is not appearing. We're 15% lower, almost 15% lower production than we had in March. And March wasn't really a good month. People were bawling out in March and having champagne with every meal, bringing over the sommelier at the local restaurant and saying, "What goes well with the prime rib, garçon?" And the sommelier would recommend the Chateaubriand or whatever he might happen to have in mind. No, March was pretty tough for most people. And we've gone backwards. The economy has shrunk. This is all leading up to a future that I think is going to be very interesting. So if the economy is shrunk, logically, companies are not going to be hiring people if revenues are down. Now, they're not going to be down across the board. From the studies that I've done, companies like construction companies that never saw a slowdown are doing pretty well. The transportation sector has been hit, given that a lot of businesses closed down, but they'll probably recover more places that open. But these more places that open, they're going to be recalling workers. They're not just going to be hiring new people and making new jobs. We're going to be trying to get back to where we were before March. And I haven't really found how many jobs have been lost in the total economy. I found that a lot of small businesses were devastated. But I haven't seen a whole lot that are sitting back and saying, yeah, this will be fantastic. Now, let me not be a total negative ninny, and there will be new opportunities. I've realized myself that I have a service to offer people, not this YouTube channel. I just need to figure out how to monetize it, how to make it worth something. Because there is money out there. People are going to be very tight-fisted for a couple years because companies are going to be tight-fisted and everyone's going to be on edge for their jobs. Don't be too surprised if a couple of your friends get laid off very suddenly, no matter how secure their positions may seem. Even accountants, highly technically certified people, companies need to make their bottom line. And right now, they're using games and chicanery to make things look like they're profitable across the board, when in the boardrooms, they're panicking, trying to say, how do we keep this out of the hands and the eyes of our shareholders? 88% of what the economy was doing in March. And you figure that's with all the billionaire money rolled in there. So people are taking significant losses. When the government does decide to no longer extend unemployment insurance, employment insurance, all those sorts of things, where are these people going to go? Because the last I've checked, the benefits only run till September or October. Again, we're in June. We're midway through June. So in 3 to 4 months, the government is seriously thinking that all these people are magically going to have jobs and magically going to be producing? No, no one could possibly imagine that. If you took a group of the smartest people, let's put some billionaires in there, let's put some academics, let's put some politicians. Nobody's realistically thinking the economy will be magically back to normal. It's going to be a years long rebuilding process. And considering how many more places are open now than were open back in March, 88% is shocking, especially in the United States where they haven't had the lockdowns that a lot of other countries have. The United States said, screw it, we're going with vaccine, business as normal. That did cost some lives, but at the same token, they kept their economy functioning. China did much the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that was a good decision. I'm not saying that was a bad decision. I'm saying that was the decision that those two countries made. Europe went for a lockdown. Canada went for a lockdown. A lot of countries went for a lockdown. And the statistics show it. Now, let's pretend, let's do some hand waving here and erase 2020 from existence. Let's do a Thanos snap and just, okay, it's gone. And from 2021 alone, from March till June, we've lost 15% of the economy. That's tragic. That is beyond insane. This has a huge follow-on effect that we haven't even begun to feel. And the question is, what is keeping the economy going at this moment? It's not just essential services, as much as we like to tell ourselves that. Yes, essential services are important. We need food, water, shelter, medical attention, and something that we can work towards self-improvement, be that a job, be that education, whatever individual people find it. That's Maslow's hierarchy of needs in a nutshell. Food, water, shelter, and self-improvement. Yes, it's more complicated, but hey, limited on time. So where's the money coming from? Food, water, shelter. Okay, you could go to some sort of welfare food distribution program. I can see that working. But then I have to ask, what happened to all those people that bought things before this all happened? I think I've mentioned this before on the show, but I had a buddy, and he actually was in an essential service. And going into this, he bought a motorcycle. Well, fun little fact. He makes vitamin C cough drops and stuff like that. They shut him down. Do you know why? Because so few people were getting colds because people wearing masks that cold remedies weren't selling. Even though they were essential service, they just weren't selling anything. So the factory laid off their employees and he's stuck with a motorcycle loan. Now, the good news is he's pretty good with his finances. He's mastered the art of living light, and he's got money for what he wants and what he needs, and he can cut and call it quits at any time. No family to worry about. He's got his friends. He's got the free life. And good for him. But I'm thinking of those people who are living in apartments, who owe their student loans, who are trying to save towards a house, or maybe they've just bought a house and they're tight on their mortgage. Mortgages also have to be renegotiated during this. So how many banks are just going to sit back and say, oh yeah, no problem, we're not going to worry that you're not employed anymore? No. This is going to be a huge factor. And it's going to be a very interesting next couple years. We may be at the end of the pandemic. I'm not certain yet. I still think September, I just have this gut feeling. I've been saying September since the beginning of this channel, and I'm still sticking by it. Economically, things just don't feel right. And here's the funny thing. People always talk about China trying to drive the United States out of the marketplace. Well, if they do, they lose one of their biggest customers. The United States, Canada, etc., we're all importing stuff from China. So if we stop buying, they don't get any money. So all the nations of the world, the G7s, the G20s, all the big groups, are going to have to face that. They're either going to have to go back to the 1930s and invent make work projects. They're going to have to indulge in income replacement schemes, whether that be universal basic income or whether that be some other weird idea. And they're going to have to keep throwing money at it until either the economy restarts itself or, God forbid, we get into another war. It was always predicted that the Cold War would end, then there'd be the threat of terrorists, and then the aliens would come. Werner von Braun himself made that prediction. One of the pioneers of rocketry who wound up working for both the Germans and the United States. That was a damn smart man. Whether you like his politics, whether you don't like him, whatever might be said, he was pretty smart, and he was in on the know. He had access to secrets probably to this day we still don't know about. And now that the United States Space Force is starting to talk about buying Elon Musk's rockets, the Starships, so that they can do their explorations and their trips, I keep being reminded of the James Bond film Moonraker, where there's a billionaire out there, in this case in the movie's case building space shuttles, and Elon Musk's case building private spacecraft. And Elon Musk has said he will not die on the planet Earth. And the villain in the James Bond movie Moonraker also said the same thing. He retreated to his own private satellite, and he let the world burn beneath him. As they say, there's nothing new under the sun. And with the economy shrinking, they may just have to start a war somehow, some way, to get things back. Because it worked in the 1930s. And if we're coming off the month of March at only 88% of our production potential of what we were in March, which was, I keep saying, was not a good month, things do not look good for the future. There will be what's called a dead cat bounce. The economy will recover a little bit because people are going to run out now that the stores are open and buy rice. They're going to buy desserts and sweets, all the things that they couldn't get. If they needed a wrecking bar, if they needed a broom, all these things that were restricted, yes, they're going to go out and get them. There will be a dead cat bounce. But that money that's coming is a limited resource. Will it be enough to sail us into the next golden age? Let's hope so. But I really don't see that happening. 88%. That's a scary figure. 88% of a down month. It's a down way to leave the show. If you like the show, hopefully you'll like, share, subscribe. To support the show, please click on the link in the description, look up other books. We always have more coming out. And most importantly, we just want to see everybody out there alive, safe, and secure. So I hope you have a great day.